Hello, I am Erkin Karaokçu and I want to show you a defensive tactic in Winning 11-8. An old game is published from 2003. In this game, we play online throughout a server, not a server actually, from throughout a client, which is called Radmin or Hamachi, etc. That creates a lag situation if you are playing as client. The host just sends packages from his internet to the client, which means that in the old game he plays with his original speed of the game, but the receiver, the client, has some lag naturally enough. So, how to handle with this situation? And most of the games, if the lag is huge, that means that your orders to the players are received like 3, 4, or 2 seconds later than you first push. It means that you cannot control all your team at the same time efficiently and quickly. So, you need to have a good tactic, good orders to given specifically by player to player to help you to control your team while you cannot due to the lag disadvantage. So, we start with the original defensive tactic of mine, which brought out the victory in the recent cup of Winning 11-8. So, we start with the original formation with the individual. In this individual tab, which provides you to specifically arrange orders for attack, defense, or marking settings to the opponent's dangerous forwards or players, or you edit the position of the players as you want. So the first thing about the Winning 11 or all sorts of the PES etc. retro games, which means that you need to bring closer to the defenses or all the players with each other. So we put our stoppers like that, and symmetry is another important function because if you lose your symmetry, you know, we first edit the position of the players accordingly. If you lose the symmetry of the players, the gaps will arise between the players or behind the defensive lines, which means that the opponent can go quickly through of them. So we arrange it accordingly, as you can see, all symmetrical. So we edit the position of those two players. Uh, Actually, the next step will be arranging of the roles, the selecting the roles, which means that you just identify each player to what to do or what to not. So we just push back the players to symmetrically on, yeah, like that, as you can see. So this should be some difference between the players from the middle fielders and the defenders. So this is like that. So no gaps whatsoever. But if you bring the players too close to each other, so it also means that you cannot efficiently use the space. So we bring the forwards much closer because when they are on closer to the opponent's goal, which means that they cannot receive balls. And in this case, you need to play some long ball play rather than the position play. When you are playing as a client, you cannot possess the ball efficiently because you have a definite lag and the opponent will quickly try to press and take the ball out of you. So in this case, you need some long ball plays or some through passes, which you can use W or you can use arrow in your cursor. So we arrange the players. When you give orders, when it is attacking, it is also important to attack backwards when you defend because when they attack backwards, which means that they can move back and get the ball before the attack even starts. So we attack like that. If you want to focus on the center, you can give arrow like that. As you can see, the all arrows, we will arrange it next. But I need my players specifically in the equal position from the flank and from the center. That's why I give directly this arrow. If I wanted to be flank attack, I rather will give this, but I will keep the balance between the flank and the center attack. So this is another thing. When it comes to here, when you are defending, you just give backward attacking order to your flanks in the middle fielders. So it means that the flanks will be covered. Also, if the opening is just going to the outside of the flank, you can give this order and this order at the same time. So it means that they defend both positions, either onto directly onto straight away the flank or outside of the flank. It depends to the opponent's player's position. Okay, I give like that. You can give two attack in order at the same time, and it will reposition itself dependent to the position. So okay, for side backs, half backs, you do not give attacking orders because they can be easily misplaced. Okay, so for central midfielders, they actually will be converted under the defensive midfielders. We do not give attacking orders because we need them onto the place. In the case if our flankers in the midfielder go up, they still need to be defended. Okay, so those orders are specifically given for the attack. For the defense, we give high, we give high. This is important because if you give normal orders, they will leave their spaces in some frequency. If you give defend low, they will rather disposition to another place or for most probably closer to the opponent's camp. Okay, we give high. It is more than bringing 10 players behind your goal line. This is more of that because you see, we just divided the space in our camp into two equal halves. In the first half, we just symmetrically put our all players cover the first defensive zone, and the middle field of our camp, not the opponent camp, is divided as well. Pay attention to the symmetry, please, because this will be important. Those defense and midfielders should be like hand to hand. Your right hand and left hand can go inside of each other throughout your fingers. This will be the same. The defenders will come inside the defense's gaps. The middle fielders will fill the gaps of the defenses. So you can use same tactical ideas in all retro PES games. Okay, so we give normal arrow for defense for the forward because they will fill the gaps in the middle field. When the middle fielder is defending, all players will go backwards and forwards will fill the middle field. That the space left by the defensive midfielders. Okay, so we arrange like that, and we now give what? Yes, we now give the select role defensive midfielder. Yes, this is the same defensive midfielder. So for the strategy, always use semi-auto. We first need to have counter-attack always because even you defend, even you are on the client side, you always find one or two, maximum three chances maybe, and you need to create those chances by counter-attack. So when you defend, do not choose zone press because when you choose zone press, the players will press, and if they do not do good on their job, they will create gaps between their defensive lines. So defensive lines will be disrupted if zone press fails. So that's why we prefer something else. It is called as CB overlap or center attack. So we can go for center attack as auto 2. As our arrows indicate, our players are focused on the center attack. I will show it in a minute. So CB overlap means that the stoppers will overlap, will fill their gaps when one of them is just dispositioned to mark a specific player. Okay, this will work with the strict marking, man-to-man marking, because Melberg will fill the gaps, fill the mistakes of the other stopper, lower side. Okay, so on the L2, you can choose from your cursor while playing. This will be an optional. This why it is called a semi-auto. I from time to time use offside trap when I see from the map that one of the player is just trying to get behind my lines, and I suddenly open the offside trap and I see that he's just got offside. But in the lag, you may misevaluate the situation and offside trap will fail. So this is somewhat risky. You need to be get experienced when you want to use offside trap. So I prefer rather than change sides or opposite sides for the average player, because when you prefer opposite side attack, it is just attacking from one flank. For example, your right flanker will go up and the other flanker will wait on his side, and the next attack the left one will attack. It will go move upward, and you if you just pass the ball to him, your attack will immediately start. That's why you can prefer it easily. Okay, so manual means manual, but I do not prefer. When you have lag, you cannot manually control all the things quite easily. So the kicker captain, this is not so important, but I just choose Melberg as a captain. And captain is rather preferred as the players with low aggression. This is kind of important uh, because all the past games have momentum, which means that the momentum in the gameplay, momentum means that when the things are going good and your players are good teamwork and mental states, like mental D75s 80 or etc., your players will keep the momentum, keep the attacking pace, and they will just press and press again. But if your players are weak-minded or aggressive, and if something is going wrong, like one player just booked or etc., the team's momentum, attacking pace will suddenly disrupt onto defensive pace. So it is important to keep the pressure always. So captain is, mathematically important when we just see the game actually, but it is like minor difference, like 1% or 2%. But you can prefer some player with low aggression. As we can see that the consistency 5, mental 80, this is ideal captain, This is not a good captain. Mentality 82, etc. But Melberg deserves the captain. Okay. The kickers, as we can see that, we do not have enough time to arrange all those stuff because our opponent are waiting us. But the takers will may change during the game. This is not so important. Okay, so we go to somewhat like strategy. We do that. The team attack and defense. You need to choose auto defense, which means that your players will prefer to stay in their places rather than go for an attack. So defense system. This is not so important here, but sweeper means that one player of yours, the stopper, will wait on the back, which means that he will clear all the attempts of the opponents with through pass. One of the forward will go towards your goal in a much deeper position, and the sweeper will defend against it. But this has one weakness, one con, which means that your offside trap will really disrupt if the sweeper keeps himself back. So this is double-edged sword. I rather prefer line defense if I want to open the offside trap. Line defense is really good with offside trap. But if you do not use offside trap, or if you have a good stopper like Melberg, you can choose sweeper, but normal it will also work. Okay, team strategy. This is also important when you're defending. So, backline is, you need to pay attention to this strategy because the players' conditions are really up, red arrows, which means that your players' stamina will not diminish rapidly. So, zone press, again, this is moderately is okay, but when you are defending, zone press is not so important because if it fails, I again emphasize it, if your press fails, there will be some defensive gaps between the players. Okay, so it is B. Offside trap, okay, it may be C if you are not get used to it. You do not risk yourself with your offside trap. Counterattack should be A. The average of them, A, B, C, A, is not so high. If all them are A, if all of them are A, the stamina will diminish rapidly. This is okay. This is understandable. But we take the C and B. Now, this is Okay, for stamina friendly team strategy. Okay, so we also choose this. So for quick settings, this is not important, but in the game, if you are trying to create something more, you may choose quick presets to not to force yourself. And actually, if you do not want to get into those tactical ideas, you just prefer counterattack or side attack, dependent to your preferences. But I just advise you counterattack, or if you do not want to attack, forward press. Only forwards are pressing. This is a good one. Forwards press is good for quick preset when you are defending as a client, okay? Or defense only, this is also good. But forwards press is nice because you all have also chances to get something, even you are a client. Being a client is not being a prisoner, you still have the chances to score, but less chances. So you need to keep the value of out of it. When you reach something in shorter amounts, in scarce amounts, or rarely, you need to get something out of it. So we cancel it because we have just our settings. So everything is done. This video took some while, but when you are arranging from time to time, you get quicker. And when you add this tactic to the stock, save. Okay, just save it somewhere else like this. Okay, save. So one trick for playing and deploying your tactic quickly, one trick is like this. Before playing online, you just go play one game with the computer, and when the game is starting, you just play some like this. Okay, we play some like this. Keep your eye on the map. Can you see that all players are really on the same line? They are close to each other, which means that it is easier to pass the ball like that. Your players are close to each other. Even you lose the ball, they will cover the space quickly. So I just get out of it and to move select menu without closing the game, to mode select menu. And if you choose Aston Villa again, somehow in online or not, you will immediately find your tactic. If your stock is open, for example, we just open the same game like this. Okay, and you will find automatically your tactic. Before playing the game, you just open a computer game, deploy your tactic, and just start the game and quit the game. Do not close the winning 11-8, and you just go back to the online, which means that you do not need to put effort to redeploy your tactic. This is easily valid over there. Okay, so we end the first video recorded in English. Hope that you enjoy and find it quite instructive on winning 11-8. I hope you all to success with your tactics. So this is the defensive tactic for the first edition, and the second edition, if I have time, I can also cover the tactic that when you are host an attacking position. Okay, have a good day. See you.